I am going to be using some of our pattern stacks of designer series paper, scrapbook paper, or patterned paper, whatever you guys want to call it. So we're going to use, this is the Brights collection. We have this, the papers have the same patterns, okay? So we have them in the Brights, the Subtles, the Neutrals, the Regals, and then both of our in color collections. So I really am happy. They kind of change these patterns every year, and some years I really like them, some years they're meh, but these I really, really like. And so I was really happy with them, and I just love the bright colors, the patterns, just the whole thing does it for me. So I have chosen the Flirty Flamingo. I've chosen this pattern here, and I cut myself a little chunk that is 1 3/4 by 2.5. Okay. And this is a kind of a card that you could do with any color. Okay. We're going to do Flirty Flamingo, but you could do any other color because we're going to pair it with black and white. So, I mean, literally any other color will work for this. So here's my little piece of designer series paper. I've got a layer of Flirty Flamingo. This measures 3.5 by 4 3/4. I'm going to layer this on a piece of black that is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay. All right. You're going to be using the Cactus Cuties stamp set, which is my kits to go, my class to go for the month of March. I'm really excited about it. I'm about as excited about this as I was about my KITE class that I did last month. I haven't completed all the cards yet, but I'm getting very close, and I am so excited. What else am I saying here? La 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 la. We got this, we got that. We need to do some stamping. So I need to bring in some white, pieces of white, and some of the stamps out of this really cute set. Now, this does have a coordinating punch. You can get it as a bundle, and that's, you know, I'm kind of basing the class on both the stamp set and the punch, but the punch doesn't punch out every image in the stamp set, obviously. So, you know, we've got this large cactus here, this one here. The punch punches out the flower, the kind of fat cactus here, one of its little arms, and then the pot. Okay, so that's what or this pot here, sorry. That's what the punch punches out. But these things are so, there's not a whole lot of detail to them, so they're very easy to trim out with scissors, which is what we're going to do today. So first off, I'm going to stamp my big cactus here in Granny Apple Green. So we're using that again. And I'm going to ink that up. And I'm just going to stamp it on this scrap. And I should have used a foam pad. I can see already that I did not. I'm using the back of my finger to the back here because I did not. Whew, that worked out okay. I didn't put anything behind it to, you know, there's no foam on these photopolymer stamps. So sometimes they stamp a little bit better if you use a foam mat. So now we've got the foam mat in here. So now we're good. Okay. I also have this little kind of three leaf cactus, I guess. And I'm going to stamp it off one time before I stamp it on my paper. So I'm going to stamp it off, and then I'm going to huff on it. So I'm going to re-moisten the ink, and then I'm going to stamp it again. So I have a little bit lighter tone with that piece. Then I need my, where is it? Oh, here it is. My pot that this is going to go in. And I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo for this, if I can get that open. So I'm going to ink this up, and then before I actually stamp it, I am going to get a sponge dauber. So I'm going to bring in my Flirty Flamingo sponge dauber. I have a little box here with all my sponge daubers, and there we go. And I'm going to tap it in where there's like some dark ink, and I'm going to add some extra Flirty Flamingo to the side. Okay. Then I'm going to huff on this. And then we're going to stamp it. Oh, I had a little fuzzy on there. All right, let's start over. I'm going to start over. So I'm going to wipe that off on my chamois. I'm going to spank it dry, and then I'm going to bring in a piece of tape. If you guys get fuzz on your stamps, take a piece of Scotch tape, and you can get the fuzz off that way. So we're going to try this again. So I'm going to ink that up. It looks pretty good. We're going to turn that over. I'm going to get my dauber back in here again. And I'm just using the same color of ink, you guys. I'm not adding a different color. Using the same color. And we're going to get that kind of nice shading over there on the pot that way. Okay? That is kind of a little tip for you. If you have some sponge daubers, and one color of ink, and you can get that nice shading action. Okay, so since this is basically a straight line, this is going to be pretty easy to snip out. Okay, so then I'm going to add a tiny bit of glue to the top of this pot. And I'm going to add it to this little scrap of black because I want just a tiny bit of black to be at the top of my pot, just for some added detail, okay? I don't want it on the sides. I just want it at the top. Okay, so there we have that. This little guy shouldn't be too hard to trim out. Our cactus and that. Oh, this one I did cut. I did cut something out. Yay, look at me go. So I cut this out already, and then this little guy. Okay, so we should have all of our pieces here now that we need. We have the pot, the cactus, the other cactus, the other cactus. Now we have a scrap of black, and then we should be able to get rid of this thing. Okay, find the trash can. Let's hope we made it into the trash can. It's possible that we didn't, but whatever. Whoops, close that up. Okay, so now we need to do a little assembly. So I'm going to add my piece of Designer Series paper to the card. And I'm going to put it to the edge here, and I am trying to make it even and straight. Let's see, is that? I think it is. I hope it is. Then I kind of thought, the way that I've designed the layout to be, I only have a small area. I only have about this much of the paper to stamp a sentiment on. And this particular stamp set, you know what, I'll try this. We're going to try it. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to try a little bit of masking, or some kind of masking. You know, guys, you guys know I love masking. I do it a lot. Let me put this on here. Didn't seem like it was straight. Okay, so I'm going to use black. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to ink up the words just I'm going to stamp it on here, and then I'm going to ink up note and stamp it on there. So this could stretch my abilities. We're going to see. So I'm going to come down onto my pad with, you know what, I better mask it off. I'm going to put a piece of tape on the word note. That way I don't have to be too careful about where I'm stamping. So I'm getting ink on this. I'm going to remove the tape. That's the most important part of masking, is removing the tape. And we are going to try to stamp just right here. Let's see how it works. Okay, moment of truth. Yay, it worked. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing on the other side of the stamp. So I'm going to get the black off of everything. I'm going to spank it on my hand to dry it off because it's wet now with water. And now I'm going to put my tape over the just an A. And now I'm going to ink up the note. Okay, same thing. You got to remove the tape. That's the most important thing. And we're going to try to center the word note below justa. And let's just see how we did. Whew! I think that actually worked out pretty good. Yay me. Okay. Throw the tape in the trash immediately. Don't try to stick it on your work surface somewhere. Trust me on that. Don't do it. Stick it in the trash. Okay. So now we need to add our pieces and parts together. So I want to put both of the cactus in here. So I'm going to add this one first. So I'm going to add just a little bit of glue down at the bottom of this kind of triple leaf guy. So my glue must be getting clogged, or it's getting used up. I think it's getting clogged. Okay, we'll see. We're going to shake it hard this time. There's a little bit of glue. I need a silicone mat. I know there's one over here. If you guys could see the gigantic mess that I have over to the left, you would laugh. It's a huge mess, and it's kind of giving me a problem. I don't like messes like that. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put it off to the side here, and I'm going to put it a little bit low. There we go. Then I'm going to add glue to the bottom of this. And I'm going to put it in the pot also. Like that. That's cute. Okay. And then our little cactus piece is going to go right here on the front of the card, just like that. So I am going to actually put it on with dimensionals. So I'm going to add a little tiny bit of glue to this little piece. This is kind of like one of those arms that comes up off of the cactus, you know? So we're going to put that on. Oh, I just said I was going to use dimensionals, and then I was just about to put glue on there. All right. We're going to go with, I think, 2 and then a skinny strip here at the bottom of the pot. Oh, you know, we might need, well, where's the tiny? I think I have a small one here. I do. I'm going to put that right here. Okay, press my somewhat of a fingernail into that. And remember, I do have a class on the cactus. It's linked below, but this is not one of the cards that's in the class. So this is like, you know, this is like a freebie because you guys could totally make this now because now you know how to do it. All right, now I am going to use the punch. I'm going to get myself a black flower. I know you're thinking black. Why? Just because. Because I like black and pink and white. I add a tiny bit of adhesive to the back of that little flower, and I'm going to stick it up here on the top of that cactus. Okay, so then I'm going to add this layer to this layer of black. So I'll just run my seal right here along this layer. And this is just a tiny bit bigger than my layer of Flirty Flamingo, so it's only about 1/8 of an inch. So my Flirty Flamingo was 3.5 by 4 3/4, and then my black is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, we've got our white layer here. Oh, I think I cut this crooked. Yeah, wow. Go. But before I stick that on, I do need to wrap some linen thread around this. Linen thread is also, you get some linen thread in my class. I'm going to do a double thing here. So I'm going to take the linen thread and I'm going to make it a double. So I'm going to cut that off. Let's see, what do you guys think? Cute card, like the color combination. Thank you guys. It is really cute. I have to say, you're right. It is cute. Okay, so I'm going to bring in something to wrap this around to tie a bow. So this is a bottle of Stays-On cleaner. And you guys, any of you that watch me for any prolonged period of time, you know that I am bow challenged. And when you're trying to wrap a bow around, I don't think I cut this long enough. When I'm trying to cut it or wrap it around something, you know what? I'm going to try. Do I have something that's skinnier than this? Maybe the lid? That might be what. That's not gonna work. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do instead. I'm just gonna wrap both of these layers around here, and then I'm just gonna tie a double bow and stick it on with glue dots. You know, we're just gonna make it easy. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some tape. I'm gonna wrap that to the back, right at the bottom of the designer series paper. Add a piece of tape. I've got a little bit too much now. Whoa, those are definitely not my scissors for ribbon. These are, because I think I've mentioned to you guys before that I have 3 pairs of scissors. They all have a different marking on them. The silver asterisk is for ribbon and twine. The copper star is for detailed paperwork because the tips are very good. The gold star is, you can cut whatever you want with it. Okay, and now I need to tie a bow. So I should be able to tie a bow, for crying out loud. Okay, so we're gonna try to get that, bring in the proper pair of scissors, and then we're gonna try to make this so the loops are even. Try to pull those nice and tight. That should work. Okay, so now I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to roll it up in like a little tube. Just kind of roll that up with my fingernail, creating like a little tube, little log. And I'm going to stick that right here onto the twine that's already there. And then I'm going to press my knot right into that. Okay, there. We saved it. Yeah, I don't know what my deal is. I just cannot wrap ribbon around paper and have it look nice. I have to wrap it around something else first. Yeah, I'm just not good at that. I can tie a bow. Not a problem at all. I can tie a great bow, but not around a piece of paper. Okay, so of course we've got to put a gem on the base of our little black flower there. So we're going to bring in another rhinestone, because why wouldn't I? Rhinestones are amazing. I probably have 10 packs of these things, just because, you know, you never aren't going to use them. You're just going to use them because they're amazing. Okay, so then we can do something on the inside if we so desire, which we might. I think maybe we'll kind of do the same thing. I'm going to ink up that pot again. We'll see how this is going to work. Where's my sponge dauber? We're going to add some darker ink to the edge again. I'm going to huff on it. And I'm going to stamp it right here. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in a piece of like typing paper, copy paper. This will work. And I am going to put it on here, and I'm going to stamp one more thing. So we're going to take this trio of leaves. This time I'm not going to stamp it off. And so when I'm masking off this pot, I'm going to have it so that just a tiny bit of the pot is showing. Can you guys see that? There's just the slightest amount. And then when I go to stamp this on there, it should be a very nice transition. There shouldn't be any sort of crazy line in between the two or anything like that. And look at that nice shading that we get from that sponge dauber on the side of the pot. Yeah. Okay. That's it. The card is done. And remember, I have online classes all over the place in the description. I have links to my crafty favorites from Amazon also down there. If you do decide to click on the link and purchase something from Amazon through that link, I might make a tiny bit of money, like maybe a nickel or 10 cents. But every little nickel or 10 cents helps, right? So there you go. You're not required to do that. The price is not any different whether you use that link or don't use that link. So please keep that in mind. And then my classes are in the description. The stamp what do we have coming up here? Our retreat is coming up. And finally, what else is on there? I don't know. There's just all kinds of stuff down there. All right, so here's all the cards. We have this gorgeous wave card with the 2 colors of the foil. So pretty. Little bit of embossing back there. We have our 2 shaker cards. I made this one for you. This one was it was kind of a pass for me today because I really liked the bright colors. And then we have our adorable cactus cards. So yay. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll be back here again next Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, every Thursday night. Of course, unless it's like Christmas or something, then, you know, I'm not going to be here. But for the most part, every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, you'll find me here with a totally free stamping class. And of course, using those links in the description of this video can help you help me. If you are a demonstrator, obviously you're not going to buy your products from me. I totally get that. But if you do want some of my crafty favorites, then that would help me out. So anyway, thanks so much, you guys, for being here tonight, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.